Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Always excited to dig into some new research.
Well, this one comes straight from you, our amazing listeners.
Oh, interesting. What have they sent us this time?
Remember that document titled The 5 Cryptocurrencies to Own?
Ah, yeah, the one translated from Italian, right?
That's the one. And let me tell you, it's got some fascinating picks that I think are worth exploring further.
Sounds promising. I'm always up for uncovering hidden gems in the crypto world.
Exactly. So today we're going on a deep dive to break down these 5 cryptos, explore their potential, and of course, acknowledge the risks involved.
Because as we always say, knowledge is power, especially in the world of crypto.
Absolutely. We're not giving financial advice here, but rather arming you with the insights you need to make your own informed decisions.
Think of this deep dive as your crash course on these 5 cryptos. We'll uncover the tech behind them, explore their real-world applications, and highlight the factors to watch out for.
By the end of this, you'll have a solid grasp of what makes these cryptos tick and what to consider if you're thinking of adding them to your portfolio. And trust me, these aren't your run-of-the-mill cryptos. We're talking super fast transaction speeds, platforms for building entire digital worlds, and even blockchain tech being used to manage identities in Africa.
Wow, that's quite a range. I'm already intrigued.
Me too. So let's kick things off with Solana, often dubbed the Ethereum killer. Now, that might be a bit dramatic, but there's no denying it's making waves in the crypto space. What's got everyone so excited about Solana?
Well, a big part of the hype is the speed. Solana can process thousands of transactions per second.
Thousands? Seriously?
Seriously, it's significantly faster than many other blockchains out there, including Ethereum.
So it's like the express lane of the crypto highway.
You got it. And the speed and efficiency are what makes Solana so appealing for developers, especially those building decentralized applications or dApps, and of course for decentralized finance, also known as DeFi.
Okay, quick reminder for our listeners who might not be familiar with those terms. What exactly are dApps and DeFi?
Sure thing. Think of dApps as applications or programs built on a blockchain like Solana, and DeFi as a way to access financial tools and services without needing a traditional bank. It's all about cutting out the middleman and giving people more control over their finances.
And these are two of the fastest growing areas in crypto, right?
Absolutely. And Solana is positioning itself as a leader in both.
So it's not just about the tech, though.
Right.
I've been hearing about some really cool projects popping up on Solana, particularly in the gaming and NFT space.
Oh, yeah, definitely. There's a lot of innovation happening on Solana. One example that stands out is Star Atlas, a metaverse game built on the Solana blockchain.
I've heard of that. It's supposed to have incredible graphics, right?
It does. And what's really cool is that it has this complex in-game economy powered by NFTs.
Yeah.
So players can truly own and trade their in-game assets. Think of it as a next-generation gaming experience that leverages the power of blockchain to create a whole new digital world.
A new digital world, huh? That sounds pretty futuristic.
It is. And Star Atlas is just one example. There are tons of other exciting projects on Solana, from NFT marketplaces to DeFi protocols, all taking advantage of its speed and low transaction fees.
It seems like Solana has a lot going for it, but I'm sure there's some challenges as well. Nothing's perfect, right?
Well, Solana has faced some criticism for network outages in the past.
Oh, right. I did hear about that.
And stability is absolutely crucial for any blockchain, especially one that aims to host so many applications and users. So these incidents have raised some concerns, and it's definitely something to monitor as Solana continues to develop.
That makes sense. Reliability is key in the crypto world. Okay, moving on, let's shift our focus to Polkadot. This one's a bit different. They're aiming to become the Internet of Blockchains, which sounds incredibly ambitious.
It is ambitious, but that's what makes Polkadot so exciting. Their goal is to connect different blockchain networks together, allowing them to seamlessly communicate and share data.
So instead of all these blockchains being like isolated islands, Polkadot wants to build bridges between them.
Exactly, and it does this through what are called parachains. Imagine a highway system where each parachain is a specialized lane dedicated to a specific type of transaction or application.
So like a dedicated lane for each type of vehicle on the highway.
Precisely. This structure allows Polkadot to handle a huge volume of transactions while maintaining security and efficiency. And here's a fun fact. Polkadot was co-founded by Gavin Wood, one of the co-founders of Ethereum.
Wow, really? That's pretty impressive.
It is. Having someone with that level of experience and reputation behind Polkadot definitely adds a lot of credibility to the project.
I can see why people are paying attention. So where does Polkadot stand right now? Is it gaining traction?
Definitely. We're already seeing Polkadot gain momentum particularly in the DeFi space and in the development of blockchain infrastructure.
So it's laying the groundwork for a more interconnected and interoperable blockchain ecosystem.
Exactly. And that has the potential to open up a lot of exciting possibilities.
That sounds pretty promising. But I imagine building something as complex as the Internet of Blockchains doesn't happen overnight. Are there any hurdles they're facing?
Well, one thing to consider is that the rollout of new parachains has been, I would say, gradual.
Taking their time.
Yeah. It's a deliberate approach to ensure security and stability, but it could impact how quickly Polkadot is adopted on a wider scale.
So it's a balancing act between building a robust system and keeping up with the fast-paced crypto world.
It is. Now, for those listeners who are environmentally conscious, let's talk about Cardano. It really wants to be the eco-friendly option in the crypto world.
Yeah, they've definitely made a name for themselves in that area.
One of the big concerns with some cryptos, like Bitcoin, for example, is the huge amount of energy used in the mining process.
Yeah, that's been a big topic of debate.
Cardano tackles that head-on by using something called a proof-of-stake consensus mechanism, or POS for short.
Okay, can you break that down for us? I know we have some listeners who might not be familiar with all the technical terms.
Absolutely. In simple terms, traditional mining involves tons of computers competing to solve these complex mathematical problems to validate transactions. And all that computing power. It guzzles energy.
Yeah, I can see how that would be a problem.
Now with POS, like what Cardano uses, users basically stake their coins.
Stake their coin?
Yeah, it's like putting up a kind of deposit to participate in the network's security and validate transactions.
So instead of relying on brute computing power, it's more about having skin in the game and being incentivized to keep the system secure.
That's a great way to put it. It's much more energy efficient. And what's really impressive is that Cardano isn't just focused on the tech itself. They're also looking at real-world applications.
Yeah, especially in developing countries, right?
Exactly. I've read about their work in Africa using blockchain for things like identity management. It's incredibly impactful.
That's amazing. Can you give us some more details on that?
Sure. They're working on projects that use blockchain to provide secure and transparent identity solutions.
So people who may not have access to traditional systems can have a secure digital identity.
You got it. Which can be so empowering for individuals. And there's more. With their recent Vasil update, their DeFi ecosystem got a big boost, making those financial tools more accessible and potentially opening up new opportunities for a much wider audience.
So they're really focused on making a difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But there are some potential drawbacks to Cardano's approach.
Oh, like what?
Well, one criticism is that their development can be slower compared to some of the other players out there.
So they're not moving as fast as some of the other cryptos.
Right. They're very meticulous about security and thoroughness. But that can lead to delays in implementing new features and functionalities.
So it's a trade-off between speed and being really thorough.
Exactly. They're taking their time to build a really solid foundation. Now, if you're looking for speed, let's talk about Avalanche.
Avalanche. Okay, I've been hearing more and more about them. What's all the buzz about?
Avalanche wants to be the platform that has it all. Speed, low fees, and the power of smart contracts.
Okay, so they're not holding back.
Not at all. And they're getting a lot of attention because of it.
Yeah, their numbers are impressive. They say they can handle over 4,500 transactions per second.
That's right. That's faster than a lot of traditional payment systems.
Ooh, so much faster.
And that speed, combined with the flexibility of smart contracts, opens up so many possibilities, especially for DeFi.
DeFi seems to be a common thread with a lot of these cryptos.
It is, and for good reason. We're seeing some big names in DeFi, like Abiz and Curve setting up on Avalanche, which is a huge vote of confidence.
Yeah, that's a big deal. It's like they're creating a one-stop shop for all things DeFi.
Kind of.
Yeah.
But they're not just focused on the crypto world either.
Oh, really? What else were they doing?
They have some interesting partnerships, like one with Deloitte.
Deloitte, the consulting giant.
The one and only. It shows that Avalanche is serious about bridging the gap between blockchain tech and more traditional industries.
That's a smart move. I think a lot of people still see crypto as this separate thing.
Yeah, and Avalanche is trying to change that. Imagine supply chains managed on a blockchain, more transparent, more efficient.
And what about financial services offered through DeFi applications? Isn't that part of their vision too?
Exactly. Reaching a wider audience, that's the kind of real-world impact Avalanche is aiming for.
Okay, so they got speed efficiency, real-world applications. But are there any trade-offs we should be aware of?
Well, one of the biggest challenges for Avalanche is the competition.
Oh, makes sense. There are a lot of players vying for that top spot.
It's a race to see who can attract the most developers, build the strongest ecosystem, and create the most value.
So what do you think are some of the key factors that will determine who comes out on top?
It's more than just speed. It has to be secure, of course, but also user-friendly.
Yeah, I mean, if it's too complicated for people to use, then what's the point?
Exactly. The platform that makes it easy for developers to build on it, and easy for regular people to use. That's the one that will have a real advantage.
So it's like the difference between having a powerful car engine and a car that's actually fun to drive.
You got it. And don't forget about community.
Community of users and developers.
Exactly. The platforms that can build a strong and engaged community, that's where you'll see a lot of innovation. And that's what will help these platforms adapt to all the changes in the crypto world.
Makes sense. Okay, so let's move on to our final crypto in this deep dive, Chainlink. Now, this one might seem a bit less flashy than some of the others.
It's definitely more of a behind-the-scenes player,
Hmm?
but its role is crucial.
Okay, so tell us about Chainlink. What do they do?
Chainlink is all about connecting the blockchain world to the real world.
Can you give us an example?
Sure. Imagine you have a smart contract that's designed to automatically pay out insurance claims based on weather conditions.
Okay, that sounds pretty futuristic.
It is, but how does that smart contract actually get the weather data it needs?
Ah, I see. It needs some way to access that real-world information.
Exactly. And that's where Chainlink comes in. They provide something called blockchain oracles.
Blockchain oracles. Okay, that sounds a bit mystical.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But basically, they act as these trusted sources of information, feeding real-world data into the blockchain.
So they're like a bridge between the digital world of the blockchain and the physical world we live in.
Exactly. Without Chainlink, a lot of these amazing use cases for blockchain tech wouldn't be possible. Think about supply chain management, where you need real-time data on where goods are and what condition they're in.
Or prediction markets, where the outcome is based on something that happens in the real world.
Right. Chainlink makes all that possible.
It sounds like they're a pretty important piece of the puzzle.
They are. And as we talked about earlier, their success is tied to how much the whole blockchain ecosystem grows.
Some people might see that as a risk. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's true that if blockchain adoption slows down or hits some major roadblocks, it will probably affect Chainlink too.
Yeah.
But I see it's a smart bet on the future.
So it's like investing in the tools that people will need if the whole industry takes off.
Exactly. And it's important to remember, Chainlink is already a part of a lot of DeFi platforms. It's not just some bet on future potential. They're already delivering real value in the crypto world as it is today.
That's a good point. So we've covered 5 very different cryptos, each with its own strengths, challenges, and potential impact.
It's been quite a journey exploring all these different facets of the crypto world.
Yeah, it's amazing to see how much innovation is happening in this space.
And this is just the beginning. The crypto world is constantly evolving.
I think it's safe to say our listeners' minds are buzzing with all this new information. What would you say is the most important thing to remember from our deep dive today?
It really is. So after this deep dive into these 5 cryptos, I'm curious, what really stood out to you?
That's the big question, isn't it? Solana with its speed and all those exciting projects, Polkadot trying to be the ultimate connector, Cardano and their focus on sustainability, Avalanche bridging the gap between blockchain and the real world, and Chainlink quietly making it all work behind the scenes. It's a tough choice.
It is. Which one do you think has the most potential to really change things in the digital world?
I mean, I don't know if I can pick just one. Each one brings something unique to the table.
That's what makes it so interesting.
Yeah.
Right. There's no single right answer. It all depends on your perspective on what you think will have the biggest impact. What do you think is going to shape the future?
Exactly. So we want to hear from you, our amazing listeners. Head over to our social media channels and let us know, which crypto do you think is the most game-changing?
Tell us what excites you about it. What makes it stand out to you? What role do you think it'll play in the future?
We love hearing your thoughts and insights. After all, the crypto world is all about community and collaboration.
It really is. So keep those conversations going.
That's all for today's deep dive into those 5 fascinating cryptos from the document you sent us. We hope you enjoyed exploring them with us.
This is just the beginning of your journey into the world of blockchain. There's so much more to discover out there.
Stay curious, keep learning, and as always, do your own research.
Until next time, keep diving deep.